We're not going backwards, folks. This is one of the earliest elements that we learned way back on the page with the shin. Of course, remember the shin because we learned it at the very beginning of our lesson. We are looking at line number 12. Shalem lechem mi melech malachei hamalachim. We're now on line number 12, and we're going to reminding ourselves of the two little dots. Two dots placed vertically make an sound. And on the footnote of this page, you see two dots is a half vowel called a shva. It's pronounced like and about or around. It comes at the beginning of a word or a syllable. Malache, malache, hamalachim, hamalachim. And this is going to start coming into play more and more as we develop our practice of reading Hebrew. Allow me a moment. Just a little reminder, we have two T's. They're both tav. One has a dot, one does not. And line number 1, ta, ta, to, to, tu, te, te, ti, ti. Line number 2, ta, ta, to, tu, te, ti, ti. Line number 3, Shabbat, notain, ot, he, oto, otanu. Line 3, Shabbat, notain, ot, he, oto, otanu. Line 4, tamid, ner, tamid, torat, el, tachlit. Review 4, tamid, which means eternal or always. Eternal in ancient literature and in fancy literature. In everyday modern Hebrew, tamid means always. Ner means a candle or a flame. Ner tamid is a very important feature of synagogue artwork. When you come into the synagogue, usually somewhere near the front of the chapel or the sanctuary or the worship space, you will see some type of a flame, usually for safety's sake. It's an electrical light bulb in some type of artistic presentation, and it indicates our message that God is always with us. Once in a great while, you might actually see a flask or some type of a flame that's open, a flask of oil or an open candle. That's fairly unusual. It's only because of safety concerns. Jewishly, an eternal flame, a ner tamid, could be out of an oil-based wick or an open flame, but usually it's done with electricity. Torat, el, the Torah of God. Tachlit. And now just to review, this is the hey. You know the hey very well. It's the hook sound at the beginning of each word or syllable. Line 5. Ha Shabbat, the Sabbath. Ha Kadosh, the holy. Ha Shabbat Ha Kadosh, the holy Shabbat. Ha-shalom, the peace, as in P-E-A-C-E. Ha-sharet, the helper. Who, that means H-E, it's the pronoun he. Line 6, Elohim, God. Eloheinu, our God. The word with a new suffix means we or us or ours, O-U-R-S. Elohechem, y'all's God. Chem as a suffix means y'all are sharing something. Line number 7, Ha-Torah, the Torah. Haya, Notain, Ha-Torah, giving the Torah. Notain, Ha-Torah. Once more, number 7, Notain, Ha-Torah. Number 8, Atah, Baruch Atah, Baruch Atah Hashem. We studied Hashem. It's the hey with the apostrophe. When we don't want to say God's name out of reverence and respect, and we're only practicing, we say Hashem. Hashem means the name. The name, we would say in English, all caps, refers to God's name, the name Hashem. Line number 9, Baruch Atah Hashem Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Very important phrase. This is the opening phrase of every bracha. We have multiple dozens of these brachot. In English, we call them blessings. A blessing, of course, would be in the philosophical sense, good health, safety, a sense of calm, a sense of peace, a sense of satisfaction, love, the ability to forgive. Those are blessings. But when we're talking about prayer words in the prayer book, we also use the word bracha or blessing to indicate a phrase or a sentence. And the phrase or the sentence begins with the first 3 words of line 9, Baruch Atah Hashem. And usually the bracha continues, Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. And so now we'll continue on. Looking at the top of the rectangular grid, you might call it, or table, we have the aleph and the ayin, both of which are silent. The hey makes the h sound. The yud, as part of the e or a vowel, is just part of the e vowel or the a vowel. By itself, it's a y. This is the chaf, the final chaf. The mem, the final mem. The nun, the final nun. The bet, with a belly button ball, a ball for a belly button inside the bet. Lamed, kuf. Kuf has a tail that hangs down below the line. This is on the second line of the graph. Resh, the shin, the tav, the daled with a dent at the top, dent for daled. Here's the kuf, just as this kuf. This is a k sound. That's the tsadi, so, like the sound in the middle of the word pizza. Here are the vowels. One vowel below is an E, one vowel below with the yud is an E. 2 horizontal vowels, A, E, A, O, U, silent, or It's called the Shava. Line number 1. Kadosh. Line 2. Kiddush, Kaddish, Kodesh, Dodi, Dibur. Line 2. Kiddush, Kaddish, Kodesh, Dodi, Dibur. Line 3. Hadar, Hadrat, Kodesh, Hadrat, Kodesh, Adon, Adon, Olam, Olam. Line 4. Limadita, Limadita. Tzedek, very important word. justice or righteousness, usually translated justice, found in the book of Deuteronomy and elsewhere. Sadiq, a righteous person. Sadiq. It's my aspiration to someday be approaching that status of being a Sadiq. Like the old joke in English, if he says he's humble, he's not really. So I wouldn't call myself a Tzaddik, but can I ever aspire to being a righteous person someday? Line number 5, Kadosh. Line 6, Kodesh. If you look at the word Kodesh and Kadosh, you should see the similarities. There's the K and the D and the Sh, Kuf, the Dalet, the Shin. The 2 O vowels are in different places. Kadosh and Kodesh both mean holy. Kadosh is more like an adjective. Kodesh is a bit more like a sense of a noun, a sense of holiness. But they can almost be interchanged, Kadosh and Kodesh. Kiddush, also related to holy. Kadosh, Kadsho, God's holiness. Kadsho, God's holiness. Next line. Kadshecha, there's the Shva. Kadshecha, which means your holiness. Kidshanu, Kidshanu, very important word. It's in just about every page we've got in the prayer book. Kidshanu, which means from the K, the Sh part, which means holy, and Nu means we or us. Kidshanu, literally, God has made us holy. Kidshanu, Nu means us. Kiddush is holy. Kiddishanu, God has made us holy. Kiddishanu. So the Hebrew word refers to the philosophical concept and the approach and the perspective that God can sanctify us. God makes us holy. Question is, can we make ourselves holy? And I would answer by saying yes, through our behavior. Not so much our attitudes, our behavior. Judaism is focused on results, tangible behavior, activity. What did I do today? Not as much as attitude, because attitude isn't real. Kidashta, you made holy, usually referring to God. Kidashta, you made holy. Mikadesh, you make holy, present tense. Mikadesh, that's usually God. Mikadesh, God makes holy. Next word, Kol. Kol Hashem Behadar, the voice of God in holiness or glory, I guess. Kol Hashem Behadar. Next word, Likrat. Likrat Shabbat, coming close to Shabbat. Makor, the source. Makor, source. Mikor habracha, source of blessing. Mikor habracha. You're seeing a lot of shva here, a lot of 2 dots. Mikor habracha. Seitechem, Seitechem. Mitzrayim, Mitzrayim. Egypt, Mitzrayim. Yetziat, Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim, the exodus from Egypt, very important event in our history. Next line down, Hamotzi, a blessing we say when eating bread. Hamotzi. Matzah is a kind of bread. It's the kind of bread that we eat when we're Yetziat Mitzrayim, leaving Egypt. Matzah. Sedek, Sadiq, Sadikim, Tzedakah. Tzedakah, justice. Sion, Zion. Ratzon, Ratzon. Ritzei, Tzitzit, Tzitzit. Those are the special fringes tied at the end of the talit. We've talked about that. We'll turn to page 34, and I think we'll call it a day after page 34. Allow me one moment, please. Here we go. Page 34. Again, we're reviewing a little bit at the very top of the page. Baruch Melech, here's the Shema, Lahadlik Eloheinu Asher. Here goes the Shema, 2 dots. Sometimes the Shema is sounded a little bit more than others. You just kind of need to get used to it. It's not a big deal. With a little bit of practice, you'll have the Shema down. Lines 1, 2, and 3 are examples of what we call the sounded Shema, more of an and then 4 and 5 are a bit more of a silent Shema. They're not quite as prominent. So line 1. Bracha, blessing, bracha, tzedakah, justice, barit, covenant, sacred promise between the people of Israel and God. Shema, which means listen. Kedusha, holiness, kedusha. Line 2. Lishalom, towards peace. Lecha, come on, let's. Usually you translate, come on, let's go. Let's go sing, let's go dance, let's go play something together. Lecha. Lechu, it's plural of lecha. Lechu. Neranena, rejoice. Let us rejoice. Neranena. 3 nuns. Nun. Neranena. Line 3. Malache. Hamelachim. Barechuni. Next word. Seit Techem. And then finally, Kiddushanu. And now the silent Shema, lines 4 and 5. Pardon me. Line 4. Malache Elyon. Line 5. Baruch Melech. So here, Baruch and Melech have the silent Shema or the non-sounded Shema inside the final Chaf. And the final Chaf, as you know, at the end of a word is an sound, Baruch. You don't really hear the Shema. Malache, since we're leaving the first syllable behind and going to the second syllable, you don't really hear the Shema underneath the Lamed. Malache, and Elyon, you're moving into the second syllable of Yon. Elyon, you just kind of move forward. Here we go. Line number 6. Lahad Dalik. We'll just practice it. It's a very famous word. It means to light, in terms of lighting candles, lighting Friday night candles, lighting Hanukkah candles, lighting holiday candles, Yom Tov candles, all kinds of candles. We light candles all the time. Lahad Dalik. And this word is Kadshecha, which means your holiness, God's holiness. So when you look at this little line of instruction, you see the Sheva shortens the vowel. You have an A vowel with the Sheva, an A vowel with the Sheva, an E vowel with the Sheva. Examples are Malache. You're just moving a little bit more quickly through the word. What it's really saying is that you're in words with 2 or 3 syllables, and 2 or 3 syllables come together, and we just kind of blend what we're saying. The same thing in English. We don't slow down and say, I am going to walk slowly now. You say, I'm going to walk slowly now. And so much so that when gonna becomes a word, and we all know this word doesn't exist, it's going to. It's the same idea. Smoothness of blending 2 syllables together. Line number 7, and with this we'll conclude today. Alechem, there's the Sheva underneath the ayin, next to the aval, Alechem, Malache, blending the L and the Aleph together, Malache, Adon, Eloheinu, Eloheinu. The two dots next to the vowel just kind of shorten the just a little bit. It's barely perceptible. Eloheinu, Asher. There's the shva next to the aleph vowel, the al vowel underneath the aleph. Asher, line 8. Baruch atah Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam asher. And you see before you, at the beginning of a syllable, see page 12, and now you know why we review page 12 at the end of a syllable. All right. We're going to conclude. Thank you very much for joining in, and looking forward to another Hebrew at some point in the near future. I may be traveling a little bit, and so I'll just post a YouTube video when it's time to continue moving forward. As it is right now, just practice what you have. You have a lot before you, and that's enough. Thank you very much. Lahitro, which means until we see each other again. Thank you for joining in. Bye for now.